Today I answer the age-old question, is it the right time to buy? All things considered, the answer might surprise you.
This is the Andres Segovia Show.
Greetings everyone and welcome to the Andres Segovia Show. In this episode of the program, I have to answer the question that you probably have in your mind, for which is why you're listening today. Is it the right time to buy? Before I get into answering that, because of course I gotta take a pause, look, I don't have any sponsors. If you're new to the program, I do not have sponsors for my program. However, there are products and services I do believe in. And one company that I have not name dropped, and I feel a little bit of ashamed that I haven't done so, is my meal prep company. On Season Meals. On Season Meals was recommended to me by one of my trainers. And this meal prep company, which has grown since he recommended it, I love them because not only can you go pick up at any other convenient pickup locations from where I am, they also offer delivery to Orange County, Los Angeles County, and the Inland Empire. Any further than that, then you're going to have to pick it up yourself, unfortunately. But these are fitness-inspired and chef innovated meal preps. They're weekly, so you're probably familiar with those weekly companies. Some of those require basically that you commit to getting one of those plans for like a month, 2 months, or 3 months. Not so here. This is a weekly thing. You order your convenience, and if you order on a certain time and day, you could even save money with these promo codes that are sent out to you, whether you use them or not. So you can save. The cool part is that you can buy as little as 5 meals, maybe even at the individual level. You can also buy a full-blown breakfast, lunch, and dinner options, and throw in some snacks like chia bars into the mix. The chia bars are exactly what they sound like. They're chia bars, but also have dark chocolate on them and protein infused. But what makes it delightful is that it's an awesome snack to have. It's delicious, it's healthy, and the kids love it. So there was a period because of this whole pandemic thing that some supplies were not really available, and there were no chia bars for about what felt like an eternity, more like two weeks, but it felt like an eternity. So my kids, every time they join, is like, Marcus, where are the chia bars? Oh, it's the most hilarious thing, because the chia bars are meant for me, not for the kids. But of course I share with them, begrudgingly so. I'm teasing, but not really. But anyway, for those of you that are curious, you can check out their offerings, find out if they're for you. They have different pickup locations. If you have delivery, there's a fee for that, but there's delivery also available, and they're constantly rotating their menu. Marcus is awesome. He's on point, so he'll be the one most likely responding to you. Check him out at onseasonmeals.com. That's onseasonmeals.com. I'm giving a shout out because he's been supplying my meals for, my goodness, I lost track of time now, but it's at least been a couple of years, I know, since I started my fitness journey. So I'm so glad I found onseasonmeals.com. Check them out. I've tried other companies in the area, not docking any of the other companies. I like what they do. More so is because my wife is a culinary artist. She is a chef. The kitchen's her domain. I don't mess with that. She gave this company her blessing. She tried the other ones. This is the one that she said, what is he serving up this week? Because I want to order 2. So that's why it's got her blessing. That's why I kept coming back to them. And that's why they're my preferred choice for my weekly meal preps. OnSeasonMeals.com. Check them out. Okay, let's answer the question. Andres, is it a good time to buy? Is it the right time to buy? Look, the answer is this. If you're ready, able, and willing to buy, go ahead. We have a conflux of different things happening in the industry right now. Uncertainty is always the motivator because we don't know. Heck, who predicted 2020? Don't start giving me this Monday quarterbacking prophecy stuff, okay? No, seriously, who expected what to happen this time? Everybody was anticipating the giant housing bubble's gonna collapse. It's gonna collapse, folks, so don't buy right now. And then this happened. Like, see, the recession is here. Look, that's a ridiculous thing to even mention. Well, depending on what side of the aisle you're on here of the issue, the current pandemic is not man-made. Or was it from a lab from a certain place across the sea? It depends on where you stand on that. But it's either nature or it was something that escaped from some place that cannot be named. So if you're on any of those camps, then you're not going to buy the whole thing that, this thing, it was the recession that we were anticipating. No, the reason people panic about a housing bubble or any economic crisis is because of what happened 12 years ago. The big mortgage meltdown that took almost the world with it. That was a big thing that happened. And I mentioned and addressed it before in different things. And of course, there's been movies and documentaries made about it. Not all of them are complete because they leave out the most crucial element in that someone empowered the banks to do what they did. Otherwise, they never would have done to the extent that they did. And they leave it out. The United States government, 1993, Community Reinvestment Act. I'll leave you with that. So, and there's also a book called Reckless Endangerment. You can read that up so you'll know what I'm talking about. Well, with that being said, is that what happened this time? No. Is that what's going to happen next time? I still say no because of what the data is available at hand. Look, as recently as 18 months ago, folks, property in California, for example, and it's its own industry, by the way, property in California, nearly every other residential property being purchased was in cash. Do you know what that means? Not to mention that there's a lot of money going around. That's not what I'm talking about. When you have a property purchased in cash, ex facto, there is no mortgage. So if there's no mortgage, how can the bank foreclose on it? Oh, they can't. Yeah, they can't. So that's what I'm talking about. When people are buying property in cash, this whole mythical housing bubble that's supposed to be happening is not going to happen to the extent that you think it is. Because before that, what caused the meltdown were people that couldn't afford to buy were buying. This is one where people that can buy are buying. There's a difference there. And that's what's attributed to this. Southern California home prices jumped 12% to a record high. There's the median price now in Orange County, $600,000 for a house. That's not the national level. Okay, the national average is lower than that. But California is its own industry. And different areas in the United States are seeing an increase in prices for the houses being bought because people are either graduating from being a tenant to a property owner, or people most likely are fleeing California and buying out there because they can probably buy in cash what could otherwise have been put as down payment in California. No joke, it's true. It's insane, and it's happening. And heck, with the record low interest rates, some people are like, why not leverage the bank? Why not? You can. So you have choices. So in California, whether you're buying here, you're buying out there, the answer is like this. If you're ready, able, and willing, go for it. And it starts with you being ready. What does it mean? Do you have a stable job? If you have a stable job, if you don't foresee yourself being fired next week or in 2 weeks, then you can feel that confidence in knowing that, hey, I got a stable job. Let me look into this. Able. What's able? Okay, do I have enough for a down payment? And if you don't have enough in your own reserves, it's like, hey, so-and-so, remember that time you told me to buy a property, you still wanted to lend me some money? Is that option still open to me? That tends to happen. Almost every single buyer that I've come across in my lifetime that I've known, because even as a kid with my father being at the front in construction, I've seen people do this where families get together and say, hey, let's buy a house, and they all pull their money together for a deposit. I've seen that happen, and it's more common than not. Or even a gifting from a parent to the next generation. It's like, here, for you to buy your own property. I have seen that. So it's not anecdotal, it's something that happens. It's a possibility. So that's the part where it means able. The next part that's able is what the lender says. Well, let's look at your history here. Oh, you've only worked all cash. You have zero credit history here. We can't give you a loan. Boom. That's where you might not be able to, but if you have like, okay, you have tax returns here for 2 years, you reported this much income, this and that, pretty much all stable, and it looks like, okay, based on your income and your tax returns and what you're currently making, this is how much you pre-qualify for. So that is able. Now, this is the part that's willing. Willing to commit to the process. Because it does take time. It takes a lot of energy out of you. It's an emotional ride, especially if it's your first, whether you're first time buying or first time selling. I've dealt with both. It's an emotional endeavor, and you have to commit to it, which is why the right agent is so important. It's like, don't just turn like, oh, I saw them on advertising on TV or on a billboard or whatever. Well, they're there for a reason. They could be successful, absolutely. But depending on how big they are, they might just see you as another number. The ones that have consistently, I know, not to dock down to the big guys, okay? I used to be part of the big guys. I like them too. But there's just been something a lot more personal about independent offices that have offered more that couldn't have been offered by the bigger real estate conglomerate companies. Something to keep in mind when you're thinking Zillow homes next year. For those of you in Tucson, Phoenix, and Atlanta, think about your local brokers. They've been around for quite a while, and they know the area a heck of a lot better since they've been there forever. Keep them in mind. Support local, everybody. So that's why it's important. That's what I do. Look, I started my show like this because it wasn't always like this. I did podcasting for the longest time, but it wasn't in my world of business. I brought my skill set of persuasion and argumentation from, I guess you could say, the political world, Hollywood and culture and all that, and I brought it in over to what I do here on the sales side of things. And when I say the sales side, it could be buy, sell, trade. Okay, so what I mean by that is I realized that there's some bad information, negative information, misinformation, and disinformation out there that needs to be dispelled. And there's this hunger for knowledge that people are searching for. That's why they're constantly scattering the web. But the thing is, the algorithms and Google and all that, they usually get paid by the highest bidder, and you get to see all this wacky nonsense articles that discourage you from buying or just show you the negative side of being a property owner. And these are by high earning renters. So like, just because they don't want to buy, they're discouraging from buying. I am trying to cut through that noise and set the thing straight. I like to make as many people as I can property owners because I know the freedom that comes with it. We're not having to concern about like, oh my gosh, I got to renegotiate that lease. I don't know if we're going to be here, especially if a growing family. It just becomes all the more convenient. The kids are at school. We got to move school districts if we can't find a place. It's so competitive. Rents are constantly going up, blah, blah, blah. There's just so many concerns. And most of all is this one. I want you to think about this question and answer it for yourself. And then I'll answer it for you. When are you going to pay off your rent? Never. That's what it means. You don't finish paying off a rent. You only fulfill a lease, and that's it. You move on to the next one. Whether it's month to month or long term, you don't finish paying that off. A mortgage at least gives you a target end date. And you can do so much more with a place you can call your own. And especially for why you're seeing all this crazy activity going on, even though we can't really sell much property because some moratoriums in local districts and areas and counties do not permit evictions of people, even though the homeowner is selling the property. It's made it inconvenient for a lot of folks. But the thing is, there's still people that are buying and selling. Some people that have the means to move out of here have already moved out and are selling their property. And some people look at it as a negative, like, oh, we have a migration issue. So many people have moved out of California. Yeah, and have you seen all the property that are being scooped up and purchased? That means we are converting more people to become property owners themselves. There's no data for that just yet, but that's my hunch. Otherwise, how could you sell which has not been purchased? Think about it. They sold it. That means someone bought it. So it's interesting. You can be part of that too. That's what ready, able, and willing means. So the question is, are you ready? Are you curious? Do you know where to go? Do you not know where to go? You want some real estate resources? That's what SegoviaRES.com is for. So go to www.segoviares.com. There's real estate resources there for you to look at. If you want to find out more episodes about what I've talked about, you can check out my series. You're not going to find it on the podcast distributors sorted like this. You can search for it at the show website, which is www.theandrewsegovia.com. And over there, you'll be able to parse through the episodes. I will be doing a throwback section. This is part of the announcement I was going to make. So I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag now. There are certain episodes that are going up in the month of October that will be exclusive to YouTube because they've already appeared here on the distributors. So I'm not going to, choke that up again. So these are going to be coming out in the month of October, here on after this episode, every Monday. Throwback episodes about the value of a broker. because we have value, why we're better than Zillow, consider us. Tips if you're home buying for the first time or you're selling for the first time. These are tips for you, and I think that's very important because I think that's what you're going to be looking for. And I have some of those episodes available in Espanol, so if you know some of your friends or you yourself prefer to hear the information in Espanol, you can check those out too. And you can parse through everything I have for Real Estate 101 or Debunking Real Estate Myths at my website, www.theandresegovia.com. This information is there for you to digest. It's free for access to you. You can check it out there. And the reason I'm doing throwback episodes is precisely because of that, because people are buying. I'm getting the calls, I'm getting the messages, and I'm going to be putting properties on the market. So because I'm going to be doing that, I have to dedicate some more time to my clients as I normally need to, because now it's like it's becoming a fervor. Again, uncertainty is a strong persuader. Again, uncertainty is one of the best persuaders. So keep that in mind. You can check it out and you can reach out to me. And because I told you that I'm a licensed real estate broker, I got to tell you what my license number is, because I mentioned Marco on Real Estate, but my license number is 019094449. That's to tell you and the Department of Real Estate that I comply with my part. Yes, I am a licensed broker, and it's not easy to be one, I tell you. We got to renew it 4 years and do continuous education on top of that. And my goodness, there's always something that changes, and we have to be up to date on these things. It's not an easy thing to get, Zillow. So if you missed out my Zillow Homes episode, I recommend you check that out. It was the one before this one. Yeah, Zillow. Anyway, that's that for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Like, share, subscribe, stay on. Follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes stuff. Make sure you're on YouTube so you don't miss out the throwback episodes. And just check out where the rest of the show lists extra content you can't get here, such as Off the Record, all at www.theandresegovia.com. Real estate resources, once again, at segoviares.com. And thank you so much for listening to this episode. I will see you on the next one.